Hi guys, and welcome to another video. And this video is going to be a little bit about protection work, and I think it's important that kind of people or handlers that are coming into the industry, probably the ones that are in the industry already, but the handlers that are coming into the industry have an understanding about what protection kind of is. And protection work is about obedience, and I know that may sound silly, but it is. And I think the best dogs that you'll see will be dogs that are good at obedience and listen to commands, because at the end of the day, when you're telling your dog to hold, whether you're telling your dog to out, whether you're trying to do an emergency stop and calling the dog off, that is all obedience. And I think that's a very, very important thing to do, especially if you're just starting off and you're doing your own dog. And there's obviously steps that you take all the way through. And I was very lucky the other week. I was at training and my trainer done a demonstration with his dog. And I think it's good. It's a good clip to show that protection work is about obedience, about telling the dog to hold, telling the dog to out, telling the dog to come. That is all obedience. And before you see these clips, I will put out there, yes, I know that the dogs shouldn't be doing protection work off lead, that it should always be done on lead. But I think this video is good to show the trainer's dog is a retired working dog. He uses it for demonstrations and for training. And like I say, I just think this video is just good to show how obedience plays a good part. The only way in which my trainer can do what he does, the first one, he sends the dog to do a standoff. The second one, he gets the dog to hold, gets him to out, gets him to come back. And it's just good videos to show that it is all about obedience. The only way that the trainer can do what he does in these videos is for obedience, because he hasn't got a lead to be able to pull the dog off. The dog has to be listening, and the dog has been prepped that when he goes in to do a hold or to stop that person, the dog has already been prepped that there is going to be an out. And when there's an out, he's going to have to come back to the trainer. So just watch these clips, and like I say, just keep an eye out for the obedience of the dog whilst doing protection work, rather than the out and out aggression.
Stand still! Stand still! Stand still! Good lad! Good boy! 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 Hey! Come! Ah! Get here! Sit! Stand still! Stop it! Good lad! Stop it! Good boy! Good boy! Good boy! Put it up! Stand still! Stop pointing the dog! Ah! Out! Ah! Hey! Come! Out! Good boy! Yeah! Good boy! Yes! Yes! Good lad! Stand still! Stop fighting! Ash! Get off your front feet! Hey! Hey!
Do you want to send him back again, Tam?
Stop it! Yes! Okay, keep him in. Right, now focus. Alright? Just to prove he doesn't have to be an arsehole. Alright, that'll do.
So as you can see, the trainers obviously put a lot of hard work in doing that in order to give them kind of demonstrations. And like I say, we understand that you're not meant to be doing protection work off lead. This is obviously at training in a controlled environment with people around that know what they're doing. This is not something you would do down the park. This is not something to do at home. So I just thought I'd put that out there. But how did he get to that point? Now, obviously it starts when the puppy is young, that you create drive with flirt poles and rags and things like that. And then you move up to something like a bite bar, and I'll get Cooper out and I'll just do a little bit of kind of like the next step. And the next step is kind of getting the dog to hold, getting the dog to out, getting the dog to hold, getting the dog to out, and maybe having a bit of a tussle, making the dog be on the bite bar for longer periods than others. So sometimes it's on, then it's off. Sometimes it's on, have a wrestle, and then it's off. And only by doing that preparation before you get to the actual protection side, only through doing it like that can you prep the dog that yes, you are going to ask the dog to hold, but the next step to that is always going to be an out. Now the next command you will be is an out to that dog. Now you may get him to hold and then you might be shouting stuff, but the dog understands the next command to the hold is the out. And the out is a very important one, because not being able to out your dog is excessive force, and you can be criminally charged if you can't get your dog off or the dog goes too far, because you are in control of that dog. So I'll just get Coop out now and I'll just do a little bit of like the bite bar stage of getting the dog to hold, getting the dog to out, but also the way in which I've trained to know that it is on a command is that I present the dog and I maybe flick the bite bar around the dog, but I won't let him bite it unless I tell him to hold it. And that's the way that I know that my dog understands the whole command, that he will only hold something on command. He won't do it off of his own back. Oh. 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 Oh, yes. Leave. Oh! Oh! Yeah, we'll do that. Leave. Ah! Oh! 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 Oh. So as I think you can see through this video, protection work is not about fear and aggression. The dog shouldn't be going out to do protection work with fear and aggression. Yes, when you're on real life situations, that side possibly could happen. But in terms of training and training the dog up to the protection side, so getting the dog to the point where it will do protection, is not about fear and aggression. It's about training and commands and obedience, getting the dog to be able to hold when you ask it to, not hold him when you don't ask it to, about outing when you ask. And all these commands is what you're going to use when you get to the protection side and in protection training. So it's not about having the most aggressive dog, not about having a dog that bites out of fear, or because they're the unpredictable dogs, the dogs that you'll see that will just lash out. Sometimes you get it with pets where the pets have not been trained in order to do it. A lot of the dogs, pet dogs that bite, they bite through fear because they don't know what's going on. Because we kind of build the dogs up the way that we do, we build the dog's confidence, therefore we can put in the commands of telling the dog to hold and telling the dog to out. And we've not got that problem of a dog possibly lashing out because it doesn't understand what's going on. We don't have the problem where we ask the dog to out and it won't, because we've conditioned the dogs that when we ask them to hold something, we're going to ask them to out. And the reason that we ask them to out is that we've got the situation under control. So a lot of it is that the dog understands that when they hold, when they're asked to out, they can, because it is safe to do so. And that's the only way that you'll build the confidence. So I hope this video makes sense to you. And like I say, this is just me getting a point over that when you go in for protection work, it's not about having the most aggressive dog. dogs that bite through fear is not great. It's all about obedience and commands, and the best trained dogs, I'm not saying mine is the best trained dog, but I'm saying the best dogs that I've seen are all very good at obedience, and the protection work is just an extension of obedience. And the dog's not out there trying to kill everyone, the dog is just doing what it's been told to do. And that's the way that I feel that you get the best level-headed dog and security dog, because at the end of the day you still have to take these dogs home, and taking a dog home that is not going to listen to what you say, that could lash out at any point, is going to be very hard to live with. So if you've got any comments, make sure you put them in the comments section below. If you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Subscribe down below for loads more videos. And as for now, I'll see you again next week. Cheers for watching. See you later. Bye.